Oh, welcome back, my gardening friends. Well, what a deluge we've had. 1 minute we've got drought conditions and we built more structures to collect water, and now we've got far too much, and the hail that we had and the storm has caused a few little problems. One tub full, the second tub full. Now, I saw this on Southpaw Davey Urban Farm. This is the bridge siphoning method. So basically you have a hose pipe that's the same length, so it goes from the bottom to the bottom. Just make sure the air's out of that. Just pop a thumb over that. So this pipe needs to be the same as the other pipe. You just might have to watch that the weight of that doesn't pull it all the way through. But what should happen now, this one will siphon that one, then the other one will siphon that one. I'm just going to have to put something on there just to make sure it doesn't drop all the way through. Seems to be holding now, but it is curled up, so I'll just push it back a little bit. There we go, and we'll come back to that at the end of the video to see if the siphoning is actually working. Can't see it at the moment, but at least this is a good way of joining your barrels together without losing any water. So if you obviously put it in there, you lose this bit. At least this way they all fill up, and hopefully the other one will siphon the other one and it'll even itself out. I must say, everything has enjoyed the rainwater that we've had, the sunflowers and everything, but they just did not rate the hail, and you can see the damage. The hailstones were bigger than normal, not many of them, but whatever they hit, they certainly made their mark. They'll recover, they won't mind, they'll enjoy that water anyway. Even the giant beetroots didn't get away likely either. This is the asparagus, and this is the one strawberry plant that we planted up into a pot, and I think I'm going to do more of this. The birds don't seem to get them, and they are in better condition, and a little protection from the rain. They haven't gone all squishy, excuse me. Very nice, but everything's full, so that's pleasing. We've got plenty. Gosh, turn your back on the asparagus and it's gets out of control, but we'll have a little picking of that today for Sunday dinner. Gosh, even my bucket under the harbour is full, and that's how much we've actually had. I estimate about 4 inches in the 3 days with that large hail. Wood chips, shavings. Mr. Ratty's been trying to get in again, look. No, I shouldn't touch that really. I will bite through your stick you tried to put there, and he likes the food and the warmth, or the coolness maybe at this time of the year. Is it snowing? No, it's perlighting, that compost I found. If you haven't seen that video, or just pop into my playlists and look under compost finds. This is the compost find I had, and I did estimate 1500 litres, but looking at it now it's nearer 17, and the perlite's showing well now after that rain. I've harvested this once. There's a small one at the back just starting to show, so it won't be long before this one's cut back Now we've got, oh no, perhaps this one might be off the, I've got to leave it a bit longer. I don't cut this down until I've got flowers on the second because of the bees. Must say, the potatoes in the 56 litre cloth pots, the cloth pots are from the cannabis growers that we find. This is where the compost comes from, and they're done really well, and they haven't suffered greatly. And we have now treated for blight. I'll show you that shortly, what I actually use, because the dampness and everything else and the warmth, ideal for blight. There's sunflowers for the sunflower challenge. This is the display. I'm looking for a large head amongst these, and there's the one that I'm going for the tallest. It does need holding up, but some of the sunflowers that have been unsupported on the other allotment, the volunteers, were completely flattened. So we're 6 minutes in, probably 8 minutes, and the other tank now is slowly siphoning across. Sunshine, cloud, oh dear. So these straps are there. All I do now is on my visits to the allotment is to keep poking those in. The ladybirds, I must say, they're absolutely loads about, and I can't do any spraying because there's so many ladybirds about. They're actually doing the job for me. Let nature do its work for you. It's one of the volunteers. No doubt that's going to be one of Bill and Val's sunflowers. And the blackberries doing okay. Not too many casualties on this sunlight, other than this one here. This one got blue dropped out with the weight of the rain. Must get that tied back in. Why did I ever bring 80 litres of water up to the allotment? Well, let's pop into the fruit cage to see the devastation in there, especially on the gooseberries and currants. The amount of rain we had, I know that they're weighted down with the berries now, but these were all standing up nicely. No doubt that may have broken off. I don't want to move it too much. No, it may be okay, but the black currants are forming well, but a hell of a lot of damage again. All the young shoots, they just could not stand the weight of the rain on them, and they all collapsed. But the blueberries, bar gum, they're swelling out now. You might not be able to see this as well, but all the new this year's growth has been completely flattened. We'll leave them. I will tidy up the ones that have died, but yeah, they're growing so well, and then we get that, and ooh, these are going to be nice. Excuse me. This is one plant. Ooh, bar gum. Now, surprising how quickly these turn. But this is absolutely massive. Lots of stems at the bottom. These don't, the summer fruiting ones don't seem to throw out the side runners that pop up everywhere. I wish it had. I could take some, but certainly going to enjoy these first few. I'll just tell the wife they're not ready yet. Excuse me. Again, more branches here that I'll need to sort out. It isn't a racetrack, guys, it's just the main A road, That's about 400 metres away. And it ain't even Sunday racing round. But the gooseberries have just started to turn now. These are the red ones, absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend this variety. And I can't tell you the variety because it blew away in the last storm. But the white currants, they're almost there now. And there's lots of them. And as I've said before, here are the baby ladybirds. They don't look like ladybugs when they're this, but they're certainly absolutely loads of them, and they're keeping the everything down. I wonder if that one's actually changing now. But that's the mess on the back, and that's what causes the mottled on these. But, I've had the pleasure of all these helping me, and there's absolutely, like I say, absolutely loads of them. So loads and loads. Yes, I think where am I point? There we are. I think they're all changing. They're changing into ladybirds, ladybugs. More damage. See the markings. The square foot gardening and vertical gardening has come off okay. The tomato in a bottle doesn't like the wind there. The only bit that's any good is this bit here, which you can't see because it's been sheltered. I enjoyed the pea shoots. My board's gone to pot now, but what I'm hoping to do is have it so I can slide it in and out, so it's easier than trying to get down there and write on things. But the successional sowing of radishes, the white Lisbon, spring onions, I've done really well with the white Lisbon. 100% germination on the actual trays, and that's the second, and that's the first. So I'm really chuffed because I've never been able to grow these before, but greenhouse grow room has been absolutely ideal. And those are the leek pips that we sowed on. My original leeks ended up with going to seed, and they probably went to seed because they'd been attacked from below by the allium leaf miner. And those are the Swedes, and in amongst them is the sweet corn. Oh. How do I weed? I weed as I go along and dump everything in the paths. If I see a weed, I'll pull it, but I'm sure I'm going to have some good Swedes this time. Something there that doesn't look like that might be a bit of bind. No, it isn't, but some sort of bind weed. Out it comes. This is a giant cabbage. Somebody got the seed mixed up somewhere, and that's the kohlrabi. A lot of bugs about, having a go at my kale. I've got some red kale to put in. This one isn't very good there. This is the one I took before, and we've got all these little florets to take off. And the birds are about, you might have seen that. But still haven't harvested any more beetroot, but I've already pickled enough now, so it all helps. These are the sprouts. They look quite good. Look at this. I might end up having some Calabrese. Keep growing, baby. Oh, and oh dear, what's happened to this one? All the leaves are growing through it. Ah well, I've got one, good one. Now I think these are my cauliflowers. The leaves are all tucked over, and creating a ball there, so I might even get a cucumber this year. Cucumber, come on! Cauliflower, begins with C. These are the Kale. Then we move on to Peter Glazebrook's giant onions. And look at all these marks on here. I wonder what done that. Holes in that swede. Yes, you can definitely see where the hail's hit. Some of these onions have flopped over now, and these are the ones that have flopped over, the ones that haven't gone to seed. So I'm going to be pulling those up and start drying them. Just haven't had time at the moment. And let's have a little look at the giant variegated onion. Now this is turning out to be my biggest. I hope it's good eating. Apparently it's got a virus, but if that's what the virus does to it, then I'm happy. That's what they're supposed to look like. But this one's doing so well. It looks so good here, and it's still throwing out new life. And these are from Phil. They're the Ulse, and the same ones are over here in this row. This is the first sowing. He sent me some more seed because everyone was having trouble with germination. But they'll certainly make good eating. None of these have gone to seed, he says as he has a quick look. Yeah, those are doing great. Those have been sprayed for blight as well, and I'm losing carrots. I don't know whether anybody can help. I can't see any issues with them. This one here just seems to be dying back. I pulled this one out, excuse the sign. As you can see, they're a good old carrot, but they're dying off on the top, so any help there please. And these are the second sowings, and we've got another one down here that's not looking happy. Let's have that one out. Don't know. That's split. That's split already, guys. Maybe because it's not happy, but that's what happens when the carrots get too much water. The aphids are attacking my giant red cabbage seed, so I think I'm going to have to cut that off now. Looking at these pods, I've been complimented on how big these pods are on the groups, so there's going to be enough seeds there for me. Alan from the Dawn Chorus plot wants a few as well. This variety of DT brown seeds isn't available no more because they probably found out that it was chucking out all the pups. But the pups are edible, so why not keep growing them? Please provide them. So obviously as the taters grow, they do flop over, but they have recovered. It's been a couple of 3 days now since we had the hailstorm. These here have flattened out. We've got lots of flowers now, so we're getting close, and you can see there the remnants of the treatment for blight. But when they flatten down like that, it creates air circulation up here but not down there. So this is what I use. This is what we get from our allotment shop, and that's £1, and they recommend 3, but I think I'll get blight within the next 2 to 4 weeks, but hopefully the treatment will help stop it or help hinder it. Well, at least the new roof on the compost bin, we know it now works. Again, full of water. I might get a hose pipe for this one, but it's just as easy to move it over. Everything's full. Jerusalem artichokes. It doesn't, oh no, I'm going to say it doesn't look like the hails had any effect on that, but it has. It's split that as well. It's flattened the beetroot. I don't know how they're going to do. The sunflowers, the volunteers, I'll probably pull those out. And there's bits of debris all over the place now. Whether that's a pigeon got in there, I don't know, but I'm going to have to use some replacements. I'm going to have to have a little closer look at that, but those bits were not there before we had that really heavy hailstorm, and it might be as their leaves are a little bit more delicate. So everything they just didn't rate it. They just didn't rate being bashed. Must treat these again with the neem oil. And the broad beans enjoyed this extra bit of moisture. We had a few flop over, but they won't hurt, and I've been pulling them out now as I harvest. So they're all fully formed, and I'll be taking some more today. We don't freeze hardly anything. I might freeze some onions that have gone to seed. I saw a comment on Alan from the Dawn Chorus plot, and I think actually he mentioned it in his video, his latest video, or one of his latest videos. I'm struggling to watch videos at the moment, my busiest time at work. So this is the kale I've got to plant. I noticed that we've got a bit of aphid damage in the middle there, so I've sprayed these with the rhubarb leaf tea insecticide with the added soap. I did check for ladybirds, so we sprayed those, and hopefully they'll recover enough to get planted. I left William Coleman's garlic in, and these are the weakest ones, and as you can see the scape is actually there. When it goes vertical it's ready, so we're just going to be waiting on some of the other scapes now. I've took one off at it but I think once these big ones flip all the way around in the next 2 weeks, we'll be taking those out as well. William wanted to see how they did here in the UK. He's over in Canada, originally from this country, and he wanted to see how they got on. All my garlic's under there. I put it on my carrot measuring device, so I'm going to have to guess next time. And there's a couple there that I've took out that bent over, but I must get the rest pulled before they go rotten with all this rain. We're due some really warm weather, but and the water's back up to there. Doubt whether we'll need to water again personally, because the ground should be okay, but the UK weather is always very unpredictable, and there's a few little creatures living in there now. There's a fly there of some description having a drink, so that's my little wild pond life area. Again, up and overflowing. I've got 2 more barrels. You've seen one earlier on. I've just put another tap on another one because the one from that side went on the roof for my long veg, so I've bought another tap. The actual taps are $4.50, so not too bad. Still got to get a few bits planted. There's my other onion, slightly smaller I would say, but everything else here is doing okay. We did lose one telepathy. I've lost one at home as well, and that's a stem rot, but the stem rotted about that much above the soil, and I didn't splash it, didn't do nothing. It's just one of those things. Yet the telepathy last year did really well for me, so again, just one of those things. And you can see the remnants there of the blight spray. I don't like spraying for blight. The last 2 years I haven't had to do it because the weather has been kind. All the tomatoes from here down to there are all numbered. There was a video we did to try and identify them, and I can see there they're like plum type tomatoes, so Alan might know what they are if they were his that he sent me. But I must get in here and tidy up. I've put these far too close together again, but by the time I've took some bottom leaves off, we should get some good air circulation, and the ventilation has been increased there. I'll just rip the window out, and if it gets too warm, I'll rip some more windows out because this is being changed over the winter, if Mrs. K lets me. The tomatoes that the leggy tomatoes we planted, they're holding their own. Oh dear, he's even trying to produce fruit. I don't think they'll survive. I think I was a bit too brutal. Jobs over the winter, as well as the polytunnel, I'm going to have this as an open area. So we'll get back to my boundary along here, put some new supports up, maybe some more sheets, some sheets at the back, open all this up, because all I do is really sit in there. How do I sit in there, he says. I don't know, it's just a junk pile. Trouble is, as soon as I clear that area, I'll fill it full of stuff, and it'll still be a junk area, but it'll be a junk area that's a junky tidy area, I think. Well, I think that's all I've got to show you for today. Not too bad, not too much damage, but we could do with some settled weather. It is awful, but we have to live to learn with it. Please, if you've liked this video, please consider subscribing. Hit that like button. Don't forget, if you subscribe, please hit the notification button. Subscribing doesn't cost anything. I had to ask the question 7 years ago when I first joined. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now. Those barrels have all evened themselves out. Nearly forgot to bring you back to that, guys. But that's the bridge siphoning system. Thank you, Dave. And to the person who commented on Dave's channel to say what it was actually called. But this will be ideal for somewhere else. I've just tried it here. This is the new barrel. So I'll get the tops put on. But now you're filling 600 litres worth of barrels just from one source without any waste. Ta-ra for now.